TV1. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. We're coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios here in Colombo. As always, we've got the details on all of this morning's top stories, both from here at home and around the world. So let's dive right in. We've got quite a few important local news items to cover this morning. Now, police fired tear gas to control unrest that broke out last night at the Mathura prison. According to police sources, this disturbance began when 3 inmates were being transferred to another prison. Later that night, a fresh wave of unrest once again erupted as inmates from 2 prison wards attempted to break open the doors and escape, prompting prison officials to call for police intervention. Tear gas was fired to bring the situation under control, and officers from the police special task force were deployed to strengthen security within the prison. Following the incident, 26 female inmates were transferred to another prison as a precautionary measure. Now, political activist Priyasad is reported to have died after a shooting that took place last night. Police say that investigations are underway to apprehend the suspects involved in the murder. According to the police, multiple investigation teams have been deployed to probe into the incident. Political activist Priyasad sustained critical injuries last night following a shooting carried out by 2 unidentified individuals inside an apartment complex in Salamulla, Kolonnaba. He was admitted to the Colombo National Hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries while receiving treatment. The 39-year-old Priyasad was a resident of Meethotamulla in Ballampitiya. Police stated that the suspects arrived on a motorcycle and opened fire using a pistol-type firearm. His body is currently placed at the mortuary of the Colombo National Hospital. Let's move on to more local news now. A discussion on the reciprocal tariffs that were imposed by the United States was held yesterday between senior officials of the United States Trade Representative's Office as well as Sri Lankan delegates. The meeting took place in Washington, D.C. State Minister Professor Anil Jayantha Fernando stated that the delegation included Deputy Minister of Finance Dr. Harshana Surya Peruma, the Secretary to the Ministry of Trade and Commerce, and the Sri Lankan Ambassador to the United States. Representing the U.S. were the head of the U.S. State Trade Representative's Office and a group of officials. State Minister Professor Anil Jayantha stated that the discussions concluded on a positive and productive note. Meanwhile, the International Monetary Fund has pointed out that the global economic system under which most countries have operated for the last 80 years is being reset, ushering the world into a new era.
Now, while global growth remains well above recession levels, all regions are negatively impacted this year and next. And the global disinflation process continues, but at a slower pace, with inflation revised up by 0.1 percentage point in both years. These trade tensions will greatly impact global trade. We project global growth will be more than cut in half, from 3.8% last year to 1.7% this year. The tariffs will play out differently in different countries. For the United States, the tariffs represent a supply shock that reduces productivity and output permanently and increases price pressures temporarily. This adds to an already weakening outlook and leads us to revise growth down by 0.9 percentage point to 1.8%, with a 0.4 percentage point downgrade from the tariffs only, while inflation is revised upwards. For trading partners, tariffs act mostly as a negative external demand shock, weakening activity and prices, even if some countries could benefit from trade diversion. This is why we have lowered our China growth forecast this year to 4%, while inflation is revised down by 0.8 percentage point, increasing deflationary pressures. All countries are negatively affected by the surge in trade policy uncertainty as businesses cut purchases and investment, while financial institutions reassess their borrowers' exposure. Uncertainty also increases because of the complex sectoral disruptions that tariffs could cause up and down supply chains, as we saw during the pandemic. The effect of these shocks on exchange rates is complex. The tariffs could appreciate the US dollar, as in previous episodes. However, greater policy uncertainty, lower US growth prospects, and an adjustment in the global demand for dollar assets are weighing down on the dollar. Risks to the global economy have increased and are firmly to the downside. First, while we are not projecting a global downturn, the risk it may happen this year have increased substantially from 17% projected back in October to 30% now. An escalation of trade tensions would further depress growth. Financial conditions could also tighten as markets react negatively to diminished growth prospects and increased uncertainty.
On to more local news now. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption, or CBOC, states that investigations have been launched into around 300 complaints related to large-scale corruption and fraud. Former Supreme Court judge and current Director General of the Commission, Lanka revealed that many of these complaints had remained uninvestigated for several years, with the relevant case files being left unattended to. He further noted that the majority of these complaints are linked to ministers and officials from previous governments. The Director General added that around 15 complaints have been filed specifically against certain former ministers. Accordingly, the Commission emphasized that investigations into these complaints will be expedited and legal action will be taken against those who are found guilty. The city Dalada Bandana, which marks a very special religious and spiritual experience for Buddhists across the world, continues for its sixth consecutive day today. Following special religious observances for the sacred tooth relic at the Sri Dalada Maligava in Kandy, the Sri Dalada Bandana, which begins at 11 a.m., will continue until 5:30 p.m. today. The Sri Dalada Bandana, which began on the 18th of April, offers devout Buddhists the opportunity to pay homage to the sacred tooth relic for 10 days, concluding on the 27th of April. At the request of the President, the Sri Dalada Bandana will be held under the guidance of the Chief Prelates of the Malbathu and Askeri chapters, under the direction of the Diyavadana Nilame of the historic temple of the sacred tooth relic in Kandy. A large crowd of devotees from all corners of the island are still arriving in Kandy for the Sri Dalada Bandana. Setting aside all differences, people have come together in unity to support the pilgrimage of devoted Buddhists who have journeyed to Kandy with heartfelt reverence and a singular purpose: to worship the sacred tooth relic, undeterred by sun or rain. Members of the Tri-Forces, police and other security divisions continue to work tirelessly each day, providing devotees with water and refreshments to ease this pilgrimage. Now, special bus services have also been arranged to facilitate the return of worshippers who visited Kandy to venerate the sacred tooth relic. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka police reports a significant increase in the number of devotees visiting Kandy for the Sri Dalada Bandana 2025. On Tuesday, the 22nd of April, more than 80,000 devotees visited Kandy, and the number is expected to exceed 100,000 by this morning. The influx of devotees is anticipated to continue rising throughout the day. In light of this, Sri Lanka police is urging devotees to consider visiting Kandy on another day from among the remaining 4 days until the 27th of April in order to avoid inconvenience. They request devotees who plan to visit Kandy to not do so today. With that, let's move on to your weather forecast for today. The Met Department says that showers or thunder showers will occur in most parts of the island after 1 p.m. Fairly heavy falls above 75 millimeters are likely at some places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, Uber, eastern and northern provinces. Showers or thunder showers may occur in the western province and in the Gaul, Mathura and Putlam districts during the morning too. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the central, Sabaragamuwa and Uber provinces and in the Ampara district during the morning hours. Meanwhile, issuing an advisory for severe lightning, the Met Department says that thunder showers accompanied by severe lightning are likely to occur at several places in the eastern, Uber, central and northern provinces as well as in the Hambantota and Polonnaruwa districts. There may be temporary localized strong winds during these thunder showers as well. The general public is requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity. The Met Department advises that people should seek shelter, preferably indoors and never under trees. Avoid open areas such as paddy fields, tea plantations and open water bodies during thunderstorms. Avoid using wired telephones and connected electric appliances during thunderstorms. Avoid using open vehicles such as bicycles, tractors and boats. Beware of fallen trees as well as power lines. And finally, for emergencies, contact the local disaster management authorities. With that, we move on to news overseas for this morning. Our first international news item comes in from neighboring India. At least 26 civilians, mostly tourists, were killed in a terror attack in Jammu Kashmir's Anantnag district on Tuesday in what is the deadliest attack in the valley since 2019. The attack took place at a meadow accessible only on foot or by pony, where a group of tourists had gone visiting last morning. The Resistance Front, a shadow group of the banned Pakistan-based Lashkar-e-Taiba terror group, claimed responsibility for this attack, but a government statement confirmed the same is awaited. Prime Minister Narendra Modi held a telephonic conversation with Union Home Minister Amit Shah and asked him to take suitable measures. Now, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres and many other global leaders have strongly condemned the attack on tourists in Indian-administered Kashmir.
पूछताछ वो बढ़िया है, मैं सामने जाएगा।
ये आपने बोला, हमने पहले सुना। ये वहाँ से चलेगा ना तो पीछे पीछे चलेगा।
Allow me to shift your attention to the Vatican. Now, the Vatican has officially announced that the funeral mass for His Holiness Pope Francis will take place on Saturday, the 26th of April at 1:30 p.m. Sri Lankan time. This morning, the Pope's body is scheduled to be taken to the St. Peter's Basilica, where it will lie in state for public veneration until the funeral. Even before the Vatican formally announced the date of the funeral, numerous world leaders had already confirmed their attendance. Within hours of the Pope's passing, Argentine President Javier Milei stated that he will attend the funeral mass. US President Donald Trump also confirmed that he would be traveling to the Vatican City along with First Lady Melania Trump. French President Emmanuel Macron has also confirmed his attendance, while Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is expected to attend as well. A large number of world leaders and religious dignitaries are anticipated to attend the funeral service, along with hundreds of Catholic faithful from around the world. The Vatican officially announced yesterday that the cause of His Holiness Pope Francis's death was a stroke and heart failure. Meanwhile, Cardinal Kevin Farrell has been appointed as the acting head of the Vatican, known as the Camerlengo. Following the completion of Pope Francis's funeral rites, 135 out of the 252 Catholic cardinals worldwide are expected to convene to elect a new pope in a secret conclave. This papal election will take place in the Sistine Chapel within the St. Peter's Basilica at the Vatican. Well, with that, we conclude this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown. I'm Therunee Karunaratne. Do join us tomorrow as well, same time, right here on TV1 for more of the very latest from here at home and around the world. Until then, take care. Have a wonderful day ahead.